Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is RRDPS. It is my honor to present our first keynote speaker for today, Professor Zhen-Qiang Yin from University of Science and Technology of China, or USTC. If you remember, last year we welcomed Professor Wei Shen, also from USTC, as a keynote speaker, and we are ourselves also invited to be a keynote speaker in Beijing. So we are very pleased and honored by this continual cooperation. Professor Yin is also associated with TCQC, the ACR, or Technical Committee of Quantum Cryptography of China. He has received his doctoral degree from USTC in 2010. He is currently an associate professor of the key lab of quantum information, where he is involved in the research on quantum key distribution, or QKD, and also quantum information. He has made much efforts to promote the security of an application of QKD, and he has tremendous number of publications, more than 90 papers in his fields, including papers in Nature Photonics, Nature Communications, Physical Review Letters, Optics Letters, IEEE Journal of Light Wave Technology, etc. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Professor Yin. Professor Yin, the stage is yours.
Okay, I should say thanks to the organizers. It's really an honor for me to give the presentation here. Today I will introduce the round-robin-differential-phase-shift quantum key distribution. This is a new quantum key distribution protocol. I will firstly I will give some introductions on the backgrounds of the quantum key distribution. So the section is the introduction. The first question is that how to achieve secret communication. We know the security of communication is very important in modern society. We can consider a scenario here that there is information encoder Alice, and there is information receiver Bob, and the information want to transmit some secret information to Bob, and there is an eavesdropper named Eve, and Eve may intercept in this between the channel from Alice and Bob. So if Alice want to keep the secrecy of his information, he must encrypt his message, and this message is called plain text message. So the plain text message must be encrypted. Then Alice got the encrypted plain text. Then this is through the encryption in the channel. Now the message is encrypted. So if the eavesdropper Eve want to intercept or eavesdrop some information, he got nothing, since the information has been encrypted. And if the encrypted message is received by Bob, Bob can make decryption process. Then he got the plain text. So Bob can know Alice the information. So this is a standard process of the secret communication, and to keep the secrecy of the communication, one thing is very important. This is the key, and the key is used to encrypt and decrypt the information. So there are public key and symmetric key. So the two kinds of key. First is the public key. Public key is used in internet, mainly in internet and in some other fields. And in the public key scheme, the security is based on the complexity of the algorithm. So its security is based on the computational security. So Alice and Bob made assumptions on the computational ability of the eavesdropper Eve. Another scheme is private key. And in the private key schemes, there is a scheme named one-time pad. In one-time pad encryption, it has been proved that this encryption scheme, one-time pad, is information theoretical security, ITS. So this in the through one-time pad encryption, any even almighty Eve cannot know the message sent from Alice to Bob. So this is information theoretical security, or called that unconditional security. This is the one-time pad. In one-time pad, Alice and Bob must have a secret key, and whose length is equal to the plain text. So it has many keys. So what is quantum communication? Quantum communication aims to protect secrecy of communication. There are two types of quantum communication. The first type is that we share secret key in a quantum way. Then when the key, after the key has been generated, the information is encrypted by the key and then transmitted through classically. So in this scheme, we just use quantum way to generate a secret key, but the information is still transmitted classically. So in this scheme, we can see this figure that Alice and Bob can through an unsecure channel, then they can distribute the key quantumly. So Alice and Bob can share that the key, secret key, in a quantum manner. This is also called quantum key distribution. And quantum key distribution combined with as one-time pad encryption I just mentioned, that information theoretically secure communication is achieved. So this way has been proved that it can achieve information theoretical secure, or just unconditional secure. And another way of quantum communication is we do not share secret key. We encode information itself as quantum state and transmit the quantum state in channel. So in this way, we can see that the classical information is encoded as quantum. But this way is not practical at present. So we just talk this way. So in this way of quantum communication, the essential is just the quantum key distribution. And now what is quantum? We know in classical world, some object can move deterministically. So it's at any time its velocity, its position is determined. But in quantum world, particle moves obey the quantum mechanics. Its position and the velocity cannot be determined. Through the quantum mechanics, we have some new technologies such as quantum communication, quantum computer, and quantum simulations. So we just talked today is quantum communication. I just said that in this way that the essential of quantum communication is just the quantum key distribution, QKD for short. In QKD, the information can be encoded as the polarization of photon. We know photon is just can be viewed as the electromagnetic wave. So its direction of its electronic vector can be viewed as the polarization of the photon. And we can see in this figure that the polarization of the photon can be along z-axis or along the x-axis. So this is the two states called that z basis, or the vertical horizontal polarized. And in this two, we can see that it's really this two, that its polarization direction is along the 45 degree or minus 45 degree. So this polarization is called that the x basis polarization. So we can encode information as the polarization direction of the photon. For example, we can say this: if we want to encode K information 0, then we can encode is a single photon, but whose polarization direction is along the x-axis. So we can call it that a horizontal polarization. And if we want to encode the information 1, then we can encode we can prepare a single photon whose polarization is along the x basis. This is called vertical polarization. This is also called z basis. This is vertical and horizontal and vertical polarized. But in my information, we can choose another way. Another way is just another basis that Alice can encode his information. If it's zero, he can encode it as the x along the 45 degree or along the minus 45 degree. We can see these two vectors are also bound, right? Their angle are 90 degree. So we can encode information along the 45 degree or the minus 45 degree. So we have two ways to encode information. One way is called z basis. They can be encoded horizontal or vertical. Or another way we call that z x basis. X basis there are 45 degree or minus 45 degree polarized. We can see that z basis. This is z basis. This is the vertical or horizontal. This is the x basis. The 45 degree or minus 45 degree. So we have two bases to encode information. In each basis, we can encode 0 or 1. And if we want to measure the photo, we must choose a way to measure them. The way is also the basis. This is z basis or x basis. If we measure the photo with z basis, this is equal to say that we want to measure its direction is along the vertical or horizontal direction. If we want to measure it with the x basis, this is equivalent to say that we want to make it clear that the vertical is along the 45 or minus 45 degree already. This is the measurement results. So in QKD protocol, this is Alice, this is Bob, this is the public channel which is accessed by the eavesdropper Eve. And in QKD protocol, Alice can must encode his random k bit. For if his k bit is 1, he can choose one basis, this basis or this x basis. and he prepare the corresponding single photon states, and this single photon state is traveling along the channel, and the bulb can receive this photon. Of course, this photon may be have intercepted by the eavesdropper E, but the bulb must receive some photons, which may have been changed by the E. But if bulb receives some photon, he also choose a measurement basis. This is bulb's measurement basis. He choose the basis random. He can choose Z basis to measure this photon. He can choose this basis to measure the second photon, and he choose the X basis to measure the third photon. He just Bob just chooses his basis randomly. That this is the measurement results we can see. And through the measurement results, Bob can record his K bit, and then they only choose that the Alice the quantum state is Z basis. Bob is also measured with Z basis. So this is the safety K bit. We can retain its K bit. But in this we can say that maybe this basis is not reconciled, then this K bit is just discarded. And this is the polarization encoding. But another encoding is called phase encoding. Phase encoding is one of the most employed QKD scheme in fiber channel. In the phase coding, this Alice's single photon is split by a beam splitter. So a single photon has two modes. One mode is along the short arm, so this time beam. Another is along the long arm. This is called the another time beam, later time beam. But the phase between the two time beam nodes can be modulated by the phase modulator, Alice PM. So through this way, Alice can encode the quantum state S plus L or S minus L. So and S plus I L and S minus I L. So there is a full quantum state can be prepared. And in Bob can also decode the information, the phase between the L and the S mode through another interferometer. So this is this scheme is called that phase coding QKD. Phase coding, and this is the phase coding, and this is the polarization coding. In theory, the two coding are equivalent. Maybe in free space we mainly use the polarization encoding, but in the fiber channel, we usually use the phase encoding. The reason is that in fiber channel, that the polarization may vary due to the Bayer interaction. And then we can see the whole flow of QKD and the quantum key distribution. The flow of quantum key distribution can be divided into two procedures. The first procedure is a quantum procedure. In this procedure, Alice prepare quantum states and transmit the quantum states to Bob, and Bob perform quantum measurements. Then they share raw K bits. This is just raw K bits, cannot be used directly. Then this quantum procedure is finished. Then they go to the classical post-processing procedure. In this procedure, they made shifting of on the raw K bits. They get shifting K bits, and they perform error estimation to make estimation of the error rate of their shifting K bits, and they made the reconciliation also or called the error correction. Then they must make the error correction on their shifted K bits. Then they perform previous application and K identification. Then finally they go Alice and Bob will get secure K bits. These K bits can be used for the users. So this is the whole flow of QKD. We can say that as the first stage, there are many log bits, but due to the transmission efficiency or the loss of quantum channel, we know that if we prepare a single photo and send it to Bob, then with very high probability, this single photo will not be received by Bob, since there is loss of channel. So maybe only a very small fraction of the rocket piece can be established between Alice and Bob due to the loss of quantum channel. So this is just the case. Then they will perform the safety, and then in general they discover one half of their rocket piece. This is safety K, and they will make the sampling for estimation. So some K will be discarded. And they also process previous application that their K bits is shortened. Now finally, they have very few bits of the few secure K bits. This is the whole flow of quantum K distribution. Maybe only this percentage K can be reserved for the users. And before proceeding, I will also introduce several latest progress of QKD. And in this year, the first satellite-related intercontinental quantum K distribution has achieved in China. This is satellite-related. This is Beijing, Urumqi, and the Vienna. So the Vienna can share secure K bits between Beijing by the quantum satellite, the MERS satellite, and this is the latest progress of QKD. Another important progress that is a new QKD work in Jiangsu province of China has been built, and this is the topological map of the QKD network. This network is from the Suzhou and then to Nanking, and they cross many cities in the Jiangsu province, around 300 kilometers, and they can share quantum K for the users located in Nanjing, Zhenjiang, and Suzhou. So this is a large wide area quantum network. So we can know why QKD is secure. We know in QKD protocols, the K information is encoded as the quantum state of a single photo. Each single photo we can say, and Bob will mirror the single photo to decode the information. If someone wants to get the information, this is him. He must mirror the single photo in the channel, right? But we know the information is encoded in each single photo, and the single photo cannot be separated, right? If it is a classical electronical magnetic wave, then it may divide a small energy of the wave that it may out some information. But in QKD, the information is just encoded in single photo. Single photo cannot be separated. Another is unknown quantum state cannot be cloned precisely, and unknown quantum state cannot be measured precisely. This is these principles due to the quantum mechanics. So due to this reason, the information leakage to Eve can be estimated by Alice and Bob. In a word, in the QKD, the legitimate peers, Alice and Bob, can estimate the information leakage to Eve, or to monitor any eavesdropping. So this is the security basis of the QKD. Then we can introduce the round-robin-differential-phase-shift QKD. there are many, actually there are many QKD protocols, including in discrete variable encoding protocols and continuous variables encoding. And there are many protocols in the discrete variables encoding. We can know that the BB84 protocol is the most important QKD protocol. Although there are many protocols, their security basis is the same. That is, the information leakage IAE can be bounded. This is the security basis of QKD. But in different QKD protocols, the method of calculating IAE will be different. So the method of calculating IAE depends on the protocol you used. Nevertheless, collecting signal disturbance is really indispensable. For example, in BB84 protocol, it has been proved strictly that the information leakage to eavesdropper IAE is smaller than this function. This is the Xianglong's information entropy function. This EB is the error rate. So we can say in BB84, Alice and Bob can monitor the error rate of the raw bits they can. Then Alice and Bob can estimate IAE. In E91 protocol, the IAE can be also calculated by the error rate and the Bayes value. And in a word, that Alice and Bob can collect the signal disturbance parameters that they can calculate IAE. But there is a new protocol is an exception. And in this protocol is called the Round-robin-differential-phase-shift RRDPS. In this protocol, bounding information leakage IAE can be done without monitoring any signal disturbance. So this protocol is really interesting. This protocol is proposed by three Japanese scholars, and their paper is published in Nature. And in this protocol, they encode many paths. We call it the L paths. So they encode L paths quantum space. In the phase coding BB84, I just mentioned that we know that in BB84 we use just two paths to encode a quantum state. But in this protocol, they will use the L paths. The L may be very large, so many paths to encode a big quantum state. And Bob will just measure the two random time beings, the phase between two random time beings. That is the two random time beings of their phase as Bob's local bit. And Bob will publicly announce his time being, their time beings. Then Alice can also decide his local bit, and then perform error correction and post-processing. They can get the secure K bits. This protocol is very interesting since it has been proved that the information leakage IA is smaller than this function. And we can say this function is depends only the n is the photon number of the L powers quantum states, and the L is also decided by Alice and Bob before the process. So we can see that this function, the n is a fixed value, and the L is also fixed value. So Alice and Bob can know that the IAE, no matter the error rate or other signal disturbance parameters. So this is so in this protocol, this bound does not on signal disturbance pairs. So this protocol can run without monitoring signal disturbance, which is unique among the QKD protocol. Another thing that is, if we choose a very large L value, you can say that this protocol can tolerate very high error rate of qubits. And then there are several groups to have finished the experiments of this QKD protocol. And this in this protocol, this is L equals to 5, and with 4 superconducting single photon detectors. And this experiment is made by Japanese group, maybe in should be Tokyo University, and we can see that their L equals to 5. This is the paper. But we know that in this protocol, we can see that L should be a very large value, then it will be better. But in this experiment, we see that the L is not very large, right? So our group accomplished another experiment of RRDPS. In our experiment, the L value equals to 65. So we made a very large interferometer to achieve this scheme. This is the scheme of our experiment. Our paper is also published in Nature Photonics. And this is some results of our experiment. We can see that the insertion loss is small. This is the insertion loss between the different arms of the interferometers, and the error rate is also small. And this is also we can see in our experiment we have low insertion loss and low error rate. And besides, we just use 2 SPDs, 2 single photon detectors, right? And so our scheme is scalable. The scalable means that we can increase the L value to a very large value, but without introducing very large insertion loss. This is the merits of our experiment. And this is our some results with the channel distance and this value, and the finite K rate analysis is also performed. This is the third experiment of RRDPS. Their L value is even larger. This is the latest. This experiment is made by another group. So we found that although we have made a successful experiment of RRDPS, but there are still some problems in RRDPS. This problem is mainly due to the theoretical proof is not good. We can see the bound of IAE seems loose, and the relation between use attack, error rate, and IAE is still unknown. And in experiment, the RRDPS needs very large L value, which is not practical in practice. So we give a new security proof of RRDPS QKD. This is too mathematical, so we can just pass it. In a word, we give a new way to bound IAE RRDPS protocol. And in our way, we find that we can generate K with very large photon numbers. And this is some method for we to prove the security of RRDPS. These are too mathematically, so we can just bypass these slides. This is also mathematical formulas. With this way, we prove that the security of RRDPS very strictly. So we just mentioned some key points of our proof. In our proof, we directly construct the collective attack model, and we introduce phase randomization between the different quantum states, and we group the encoding state according to the number of phases. So these are some important points of our security proof. And then we get a new security proof. Then we make some simulations and experiments according to our new theory. We can first say that the improvements on maximum tolerable error rate made by our new theory. We can say that in the original theory, its maximum tolerable error rate is very limited. For example, when L equals to 5, its tolerable error rate is smaller than this value, no larger than 3%. But with the help of our theory, this tolerable error rate can be a very large value. This can be larger than the 12%. So there is a very notable improvement on the maximum tolerable error rate made by due to our new theory. And besides, we can say that we just need very small L. For example, we can say that previously they need a relatively larger L. For example, this is 29. But in our theory, we prove that the L equals to L8. This 8 value, this value can be sufficient for the protocol. So the L value can be small. In this way, we can say that this RDPS protocol become more practical since we need only a small L value. And this is the improvements on key rate and distance. From this figure, we can see that, the solid line is made by our theory, and this dashed line is made the original or the previous theory, and the same color represents the same L value. For example, we can see the value of L equals to 8, and this purple color, we can see this is our theory. This is the previous theory. We can see that the key rate depends on the channel loss, but we can see that in each channel loss, the secret key rate can be increased very notably. So the performance has been improved by our new theory. This is another example. And this work is published in Nature Communications. And then according to our new theory, we also made a new experiment on RDPS. This is our new experiment. We can say that this measurement device is much simpler than the previous one, since we just use L equals to 3. So the measurement device is very simple. But with this very simple experimental setup, we got better performance. We can say that the distance of the security of the channel is increased, and the secret key rate is also increased. So we can conclude our new security proof of RDPS protocol gives the most precise bound on information leakage until now. Our theory is applicable to RDPS without and with monitoring signal disturbance. And the practicality and the performance of the RDPS protocol are both improved dramatically. So thank you. Any questions?
What is the bit rate in your experiment?
You mean our experiment?
Yeah, the transmission rate, the bit
Transmission rate. Here the transmission rate is here. This is the propulse. This unit is propulse, but the repetition rate is 1 gigahertz in our system. So if you want to get a transmission rate per second, you can just times the repetition rate.
Okay, let's thank the speaker again. Thank you very much.